he's been the member of our governing council since 2017. That, by way of perspective, hopefully is useful. And now I'll just hand it over back to Shekharji.
I think, Pankaj, you said enough. अब इससे ज़्यादा इतनी ज़्यादा भी तारीफ नहीं करनी.
I know.
No,
This actually reminds me of Pankaj. First of all, thank you so much for your kind words. ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा kind हो गया. But Pankaj, since he mentioned, yeah, Pankaj, I think, was doing his post diploma then when I joined in the first year, and I assisted him on his post diploma, and we were just very new to the institute, and I think they were shooting the post diploma. और मुझे याद है पंकज ने मुझे दे दिया कंटिन्यूटी रखो आप अपनी फिल्म का, उनकी फिल्म का. तो मैं कंटिन्यूटी लिखता गया. वी डिडंट इवन नो व्हाट कंटिन्यूटी वाज एक्चुअली. बस इतना बोल दिया कि लिखने का है, कुछ जो हो रहा है वो लिखते गए. वो कार्बन पेपर लगा के पूरा मेंटेन करते गए. Film got shot. Then I think when Pankaj went to edit, I remember Pankaj's room was on the other side, and he yelled from that room, saying, "Oye, kidhar hai tu?" I looked out of front. I came out into my balcony and I said, "Kya ho gaya?" He said, "वो okay take कौन से हैं इसमें lab में जाने?" I said, "Okay take," and I had no idea that the okay takes had to be circled. So मैं सिर्फ लिखता चला गया था. कंटिन्यूटी मैंने एक भी okay take circle नहीं किया था. Pankaj just looked at me and he said कि अब बोलना बेकार है, and Pankaj left after that. So Pankaj, you are still very kind to me in spite of what I did to your diploma. So thank you very much for that. So absolutely wonderful to be here, and Shekharji, whatever way you say, it's good to see.
No, I'm going to ask you.
Whatever way we can lead it that way, and
I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then let's take it. You talked about continuity. Let's take it from there. When I made my first film, continuity was very important, but I shot 1:3. Masoom was shot 1:3. So Aruna and Vikas were my editors. So they said, "What is it you want us to edit?" Right? They didn't give us any leeway to edit anyway. But that's what the issue about editing. Even then, they were able to shift scenes into different meanings, even with that finite thing. Then my first film in Hollywood, they saw me shoot the first day, and they said, "Why are you not shooting so little?" I said, "Well, I don't need more than that." So I remember I was working for Kate Blanchett, and I started the scene, and in the middle of it, I said, "Cut." And she said, "Shekhar, you didn't like it?" I said, No, I've got enough. All I need from this shot is a close-up. I don't need, and that doesn't happen anymore. So I'm bringing it back to continuity. Now with digital cinema, my most irritating person on my set that I want to throw off is the continuity person. Because I have an idea in my head, I've got enough footage, I can shoot as much as I want. And my continuity, if you are an experienced director, my continuity anyway, who cares? I don't even care about looking left, looking right, line of this, all of that. I don't care about it. I just feel that now continuity has become वो पुराने ज़माने की बात अभी भी चल रही है continuity जिस तरह से हम shooting करते हैं. So the film is actually made on the editing table because we have so much footage now, and it is made on the editing table and it can be converted. उसमें फिर continuity. Anyway, I'll take it up. What does continuity mean anymore? If you're shooting 400,000 feet, or now people are, if you're shooting, hundreds of hours for 2 hours or 1 hour, where's continuity in that? Anyway, let's start with that.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're right in a way that the whole grammar of cinema has changed. When we first went to the institute, you obviously learned how if a character is coming from left, he has to exit right in the next frame, enter from left again, or you can't cut on the same magnification, you have to go close. So I feel cinema is also, for a viewer also, it's a language. When actually somebody is watching cinema, he's actually learned a language. And if somebody's not watching cinema, somebody who's never seen a cinema in life, if you show him a film, I'm sure he'll understand nothing out of it. Because what you're doing in editing is actually, from a long shot to a close-up, from Mumbai to suddenly New York, from this day to night, and there's so much happening. So unless actually you've mastered that language of being able to see cinema, a viewer won't be able to. I think there was an experiment like this done years back when they showed a film to a tribe, and they got nothing out of it. But yes, now film literacy is so high that you can break these rules. You can break, as you rightly said, that does continuity matter? Now people are jumping axes, people are shooting from this side, people are shooting from that. It's no more necessary that if your over shoulder is here, next time it has to be this side. Because I think the capacity to still make sense out of all this chaos has increased for a viewer. But at the same time, I feel somewhere as a filmmaker, you should be aware of these rules and make sure that you're not confusing the viewer. And yes, when an editor gets so much material, he will make something out of it. Well, I very honestly feel, an editor is a completely unsung hero. He's an absolutely unsung hero because, it's very difficult to judge the work of an editor. You can judge the work of a cinematographer. You'll say, excellent frames, lit up so well. You can judge the work of a music director. You'll say, wow, great compositions. Look at the melody. You can judge the work of even a sound recordist. You can judge the work of an actor. But how do you judge the work of an editor? Actually, you don't even know what kind of material came to him from a director. It could have been absolutely great. It could have been absolutely terrible. You don't know how he salvaged it, or he could have destroyed it. Actually, a bad editor can even destroy a great work. So this constantly happens. I worked as an editor for many years, and I worked with many directors, and one would see that some directors are shooting in a particular way, and they have a sensibility of editing. Some are not. Then you really have to strive and still make sense out of it. But the good thing about editing is, as you rightly said, it's like, as they say commonly, that a film is made on two tables, a writing table and an editing table. So you really can rewrite a film on the editing table. You really can rewrite. Because the moment you start seeing every piece of footage as a different unit, you start seeing sound differently, you start seeing that one picture differently, then it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Then you're picking up from this jigsaw puzzle and trying to create meaning. So somewhere I think an editor has to have a sense of storytelling. If an editor has some bit of storytelling sense, then he knows what to hold, what not to hold, where to create drama. And within the same material, I wish someday we'll do a whole class on editing, and we can put out some videos and show that, how just by shifting something here and there, you can completely change the meaning. Like, okay, to vaguely give you an example, imagine a thief running out of, I'm just saying for the students, a lot of first year students are there, and first of all, welcome to you guys. So ideally, you all should have been on campus, but unfortunately, online, we are all doing all this right now. So, okay, coming to an example, you imagine a thief running off a jail, and the director has a shot that he's running out of the jail. There's a cop who runs behind him. There's a whole chase which happens. Finally, that guy reaches home, and you see the cop actually getting from the window and getting inside. And as this guy enters his door, the cop is waiting there, and he's caught him. So this is the way it was shot. This is the way an editor will edit. But suppose you edit it like this, and finally in the final film you see, yeah, now it's getting too long. Anyway, I have a long film, and it's an expected kind of a chase. It's not providing any thrill. Now what do? You can completely cut it differently. You see this guy escaping from the jail, and you cut to the last shot where this guy, cop, is coming from the window and waiting for him. And then you cut back to that guy who's running on the roads, and he's looking back and he thinks he's escaped. He's running back home. And when he reaches home, he opens the door and the cop is there. So what have you done actually? You played with the emotions of the viewers. you've created an anticipation in the mind. अरे फंसेगा यार तू, अब अरे तू फंसेगा, वो देख वेट कर रहा है तेरे लिए. So when the viewer knows a little more than the characters in the film, there's a little joy they get when that satisfaction happens. So this is just a random example, but I'm saying a good editor will always play with emotions. He has the material, he has the things. He will say, okay, let me hold this information. He will figure out where surprise is better. He'll figure out where tension is better, where drama is better, where to hold a joke, where to give a joke. So he's got these tools. You put it all together and play it around, and magic can be created.
Yeah.
Pankaj mentioned that story. It reminded me of a story. So I used to do a lot of ad films once upon a time, and so there was this one ad agency guy. We were shooting in Madurai, I remember. And after the shoot would get over, we would all have dinner together. And over a few drinks, he got into the case of editors. He said, what does an editor do? Finally, he's just joining shots. It's a director who shoots it, gives it to him, and he just joins shots. So, मेरे अंदर का एडिटर जाग गया और मैंने कहा यार ऐसा नहीं होता, एडिटर बहुत कुछ कर सकता है. Now look at this, even this ad we are shooting, it's not to a script, it's all candid. We are shooting so much material, we'll have 1 hour of material. From this we'll have to make a 40-seconder. And I tried explaining to him what I think he didn't understand. He kept on abusing editors. So next day I actually gave a small VHS camera to one of my assistants. I said, make it look like you're shooting the making of this ad film, and ask this set of questions to many of these people, and including this guy, especially ask him these questions. So he went there asking questions. Okay, how do you feel the shoot is going? Who's your favorite person on the shoot? How's the food on the shoot? How many times do you eat in a day? And some random questions like this. So we talked with him. A week later, when we came back, I finished the edit work. Edit was given, approved, everything. I got that out of my way. Then I sat with this material, and I put these things together. And all I did with the same answers, I just changed the question, which was anyway off camera. So when he said, I had asked him, who's your favorite person in the crew? So I said, who's the person you would like to sleep with in the crew? And he's saying, I think the cameraman. So I just changed the questions to some very, very naughty questions, put it all together, put it on a CD, and sent it to his house. As luck would have it, it was probably bad luck for him. He wasn't at home, as his mom saw the CD, and she put it in a CD player, and she saw the CD, and he saw his son answering these lewd questions. He called me at 12 of the night. He says, "Kya kar raha hai tu? Kya kiya ye tune?" I said, "Yaar, main dikha raha tha ki reading kya hoti hai tere ko." So that's a basic example of just one changing of a question changes the meaning. It's the same expression. Nothing has changed. Everything changes. So anyway, that's about editing. One day we'll do a full session on it.
We should. We can do it right now if you want. So listen, I'm just looking for answers, questions from the students. If there is any question, ask it now. Otherwise, you won't start it. So don't be shy. You won't get that often. Right? Anybody there? Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Go
Hi.
ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to first of all, मैं सर को शुक्रिया कहना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि मैं यहाँ हूँ क्योंकि सर की जो फिल्म है 3 Idiots वो बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस कर गई थी. तो मतलब इंजीनियरिंग ज्वाइन करने का और यहाँ आने का दोनों का मोटिवेशन वही था. मैं आई एम गिविंग दिस प्रीफिक्स बिकॉज माई क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू द सेम थिंग. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सर, आपके मूवीज़ में ना एक चीज़ बहुत कॉमन होती है, जैसे कि आप हंसते हंसाते ना एक बहुत सीरियस चीज़ कह जाते हो और जो अचानक से ऐसी लग जाती है. तो मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि क्या मूवीज़ सोसाइटी को चेंज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि आपके राइटिंग में अक्सर वो चीज़ दिख के आती है. तो ये मेरा बहुत सिंपल सा सवाल था, लेकिन मुझे बहुत हमेशा ये परेशान करते हैं.
नहीं, मुझे डेफिनेटली लगता है कि दो अक्सर ये कहा जाता है कि सिनेमा can't bring a social change, but I don't think that's true. इंसान चेंज कैसे होता है? एक्चुअली आप देखें तो एक थॉट होता है, जो आपको शायद कभी कोई किताब दे देती है, जो शायद आपको कभी एक दोस्त दे देता है, या आपको सिनेमा दे देता है, कभी कोई स्पिरिचुअल गुरु दे देता है, कोई कहीं से भी, इट्स अ थॉट विच चेंजेस. जो ह्यूमन एवोल्यूशन, आप इतने सदियों से हमारे अंदर भी जो बदलाव आए हैं, आई मीन एज ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, वो एक थॉट से आते हैं. तो वो थॉट आपको कोई भी चीज दे सकती है, तो सिनेमा क्यों नहीं दे सकता? और सिनेमा डेफिनेट, आप खुद ही कह रहे हैं कि आपने 3 इडियट्स देख के आप यहाँ पे आ गए हैं, तो आई होप यू डू वेल, नहीं तो आप मुझे मारोगे 2 साल के बाद. So definitely cinema can bring a change. Of course, why not? Cinema does. हम क्यों जाते हैं फिल्म इंस्टीट्यूट में? क्यों आप सारे लोग वहाँ क्यों बैठे हैं? आपको किसी ढंग से सिनेमा ने इन्फ्लुएंस किया, आपको लगा हाँ ये मैं करना चाहता हूँ जिंदगी में, ये मुझे मजा देता है, ये मुझे मजा आएगा जिंदगी भर ये करने में. तो आई थिंक आप सारे लोग वहाँ बैठे हैं इस वजह से कि बिकॉज सिनेमा पुल्ड यू टू बिकम व्हाट यू आर वांटिंग टू बिकम नाउ. सो इट डज. ये नहीं है कि हाँ कि पूरी दुनिया बदल जाएगी, पूरी दुनिया तो अब किसी चीज से भी नहीं बदलती, बट एक छोटा परसेंटेज भी बदल जाए तो आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट थिंग.
I think 3
Sir, I'll go
Idiots.
next.
Just one thing. I just wanted to say that 3 Idiots. I've met so many people that film influenced. So many people, not just here in India, but people from China. Students in China were influenced by that. The people I know in the US, they're more or less the population. It somehow caught into a nerve of the youth. And there were so many of that youth sitting on the cusp of, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I follow my heart? Should I not follow my heart? And it did change a lot. I think you probably find, if you do a research, a lot of people changed after watching 3 Idiots. Okay. Anybody else with a question?
Sir, Sagar.
Please. Sagar.
Sir, Sagar here. Sir, Raju sir. Hi, sir. Sir, this might sound cliche to you, but this is my huge fan moment talking to you. Sir, I just wanted to say you this line that Jahapna tusi great ho. Sir, I'm really eternally grateful to you for creating Ranjit Shyamdas Chanchet and delivering us 3 Idiots. So that is only one film which I could relate so well because of the core point: do what you love, follow your heart. That's what I'm trying to do all my life till now. So yes, sir, thank you for the classic. So I have a request for you, and I have 2 questions. Sir, my request is, sir, when my friend once asked me, if you get some power to go invisible, what will you do? Then I replied, I go invisible, I enter, and then I enter into Raju Hirani's and Abja Joshi's writing room to see what they converse, to see how they conceive a scene. That's what I really want to know all the time, sir. So, like, what my humble request is that if you provide, like, there are a lot of BTS videos, like, for example, in Sanju movie, the transformation of Ranbir Kapoor to Sanju, there is a video out there. So, like that, for writing aspect, I request you to, like, how you both find an idea and how you create a scene, how you put it on the paper, on the draft one, and how you evolve the scene draft by draft, and somewhere it gets locked. And then how do you execute on the set, and then ultimately to the silver screen. This process of your work, if you make it a video, I mean, it will definitely help millions of aspiring filmmakers, in which I am one. So
Yes,
please,
Sagar, I'm going to say, well, he's right there. Ask him now. Why wait till that video comes up? Ask him.
No, I got it, Sagar. What you're trying to say, actually, we can do extended talk on it. But as far as getting invisible is concerned, Shekhar is here. He's an expert on it, Mr. India. You can ask him how to get invisible.
Sir, that is my request, sir. Sir, I have a question. I have 2 questions. The first question is: you're a director and you are an editor for all of your films. Sir, last year I have made a short film which is 19 minutes long, and then my friends told that there is a bit of lag. We get bored at times, and I have no judgment because I have seen the footage hundreds and hundreds of times, and I have no judgment. So when after 1 year, if I see the film right now, I can relate what they were saying then. I believe that I can really chop off 2 minutes of the entire short film without disturbing the emotional arc, the narrative of the short film. So now my question to you is, like, how can you be an editor and get detached from the director and writer in you and make masterpieces every single time. You make good films and you make good money out of it. That's a deadly combination. So how can you manage to do so? That's my first question.
See, so I think first of all, you should be absolutely brutal when you're sitting on your edit. I think there should be no attachment with your material in terms of that, oh, this shot took me, 5 hours to set up and execute. So I'm going to keep it for that reason. Or any other reason, trying to keep anything. You have to objectively see it. Is it working? And it happens with you. You're watching it, you will get bored at a point. You say, oh no, it's dipping here. Or show it to people. Like whenever I make a film, I actually do multiple screenings after the full edit is ready. I typically would show it to about 200 people in small units. 25, 30 people called to the office, shown and shoot, and make notes.
Sir.
And collectively, if you feel that most people are finding a problem in a particular area, then that needs to be addressed. Because what happens as a filmmaker, you can lose objectivity because you're attached with your material for such a long time. If you've written the film, you've been there on the shoot, you edited it. So you can lose objectivity. You will stop laughing at the same jokes. You will not be emotionally moved. Like when you write your scene, and if it's sometimes you get a great idea, tears roll down. That saying, there's a line which is working. And that is what you have to remember, that it worked. When the thought came for the first time, it worked. Second time, it might not work.
Yes.
So you have to remember while editing that it had worked. So with a new audience, it will work.
Sure.
So then you become dependent. And if most people are saying that this area is not working, then you have to focus on it. They might not have the solutions, but you have to find solutions that, let's see, do we need to chop it? Do we need to see it differently? Do we need to edit it differently? And solutions are there. Solutions are always there. So you need to be absolutely brutal with your material. And sometimes, like, to give an example, some solutions are so simple. I'll give an example of 3 Idiots because I think a lot of you all have seen that film. If you see, there is a character called Joy Lobo who kills himself in the film, who commits suicide. So before that, it's a film about these 3 characters which is moving. And at one point, you've sufficiently established Rancho, Madhavan, Sharman, all these people are established. And suddenly you get into another character called Joy Lobo. And he's trying to make a drone. And the director of the place is trying to say, this is a failed experiment. I'm going to call your father and this thing. Whenever I did that screening, everybody said that. He says, यहाँ से यार ये कुछ यहाँ से ऐसा लगता है कहीं और चला गया story. It's not connected. And I said, yeah, but I have to get this character because this character is going to kill himself, which is going to propel the conflict in the story. The director of the institute and the protagonists are going to come into. How can I say it? But every time everybody said, yaar, yahan se aisa lagta hai kuch alag character kahani shuru ho gaya. And finally, the solution came after months. It was, you can go back and see it now. It was just a simple line of a voiceover, which I put there. Before that, we were saying Rancho is great. Rancho does this, Rancho does this, Rancho does this. And there was a line which we put. And the line was, एक और था जो बिल्कुल Rancho जैसा था. And then we cut to this character. So my attention as a viewer is, अच्छा ये Rancho जैसा है यार, ये क्या है? So I'm engaged in the story for the next 2 minutes. And in the 4th, 5th minute, he's dead.
Yes, sir.
So what we're doing as a filmmaker, as a writer, we are actually taking the viewer on a journey. We're taking them on a journey. So we have to avoid as many bumps. Give them a smooth ride. Give them a smooth ride. The moment you throw them off, एक बार जाएगा, दूसरी बार जाएगा. You might make the most complex film, but it has to be a smooth ride so that they are engaged. Their engagement is of prime importance. If you can't engage them, if they're detached for a while, the emotional quotient is gone. So you have to. Yes. You have to keep them engaged. So since you were talking about writing, you said, how do I think? And see, everybody will think differently. So there's it's not a formula I have or something, but I've made certain rules for myself. I write with Abhijat and we've made certain rules for ourselves that these are the things. And I said, there should not be any rules. Possibly tomorrow these rules might fail. But there's certain things I'll tell you what I follow is, I always say that try and find a unique story. Because
Yes,
what
sir.
has happened, 100 years of cinema has happened. Everything has been said.
Yes, sir.
So how do you engage this thing? Try and find something which is unique, which is very difficult now. So, but make an effort. You know, when a Lagero Munna Bhai was to see a Gandhi, a real character meeting Munna Bhai, a fictional character, to me it was unique. Or an alien coming in search of a god. So there's an effort. You might not always get a unique story, but attempt should be to find a unique story. The second thing we tell ourselves is, and this is very important, which we try and do all the time, is we tell ourselves that pick triggers from life. Which means when you write a scene, where do you write from? How all of us, when we write, where do we write from? We write from our memories, all that we've experienced, all that we've seen, all that we've read. Don't go by what you've seen in another film. You know, don't say, that's a great scene, so let me change it slightly, and try and dig into your life whenever writing, find an incident, then change that incident. So what will happen when you put an incident which is a trigger from life, when that comes on screen, that resonates very well with the audience because they can find an identification. They say, "Yaar, hamare saath bhi aisa hua tha yaar. Are aisa hota hai." The scenes look unusual. They don't look filmy. The scenes look very unusual. I'll give you an example. In fact, I thought this might come up, so I've in fact sent a video clip to Shekhar, your assistant Adelphi. I sent I might want to show a clip. So luckily we have a clip like this. But before we show that, I'll tell you in Lagero Munna Bhai, our biggest challenge was how do we make the world believe, the viewer believe that Gandhian ways can work in today's time? Because Gandhi bashing was fashion that time. I feel still it is sometimes. So how do you make them believe? Just by saying Gandhi comes and he tells Munna to do this, they won't believe it. I said, we have to create a scene in which his methods as a demonstration look believable. Now, in isolation, you can't create a scene. It has to be part of the story. We literally struggled for 6 months. And finally, we created 3 small stories. And they are completely triggers from life. I remember Abhijat telling me once that he quoted Gandhi and he said, Gandhi used to say that if you want to judge the character of a person, see how he behaves with somebody who is lower in strata than him. So he had said this sometime, few months back. A month later, I narrated some story out of context to him about a friend of mine from the Film Institute, great friend, still great friend. So whenever we used to go out to eat together, we would be eating mostly in those Udupi restaurants when we were staying at Bombay's PGs. So we'd go there and it would be crowded lunchtime. So he would get very impatient and he would call the waiter like, "Idhar." And I would tell him ki, "Yaar, aise kyun bula raha hai? Tu usko bulana. Arey, sunte nahi yaar." Every day he would do this. "Idhar." So now this story and what Abhijat said came together to become a story. And I'll show you that clip. Then there was another story which is about my mother-in-law. She used to stay in on the first floor of a building. And sorry, she used to stay on the ground floor, and she had a small patch of a garden. And on the first floor, there was a kitchen just right above her garden. So this lady on the first floor would every day peel those eggshells or cut vegetables and throw it off, and then all will come and fall in the garden. And every day there would be a fight with the maid. One day, what she did, she went and picked up those eggshells, all the vegetables, put it in a plastic bag, went up to the first floor, rang the bell, and walked into the house and told the lady, "Bhabhi ji, आपने कुछ गिरा दिया है. ये रोज गिर जाता है. आप चिंता मत करो, मैं आपको लाके दे दूंगी." और छोड़ के चले गई. And it stopped the next day. So these both incidents actually, what I'm meaning by trigger from life, are there. We modified it and made into 2 scenes in the film. So if you can play it for a while.
Adelphi, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just 2
If you
minutes.
can play it, if
We'll
it
play
plays, if it jitters or something, then you can stop it and we can continue. The second one, the Lagero Munna Bhai one.
गुड मॉर्निंग मुंबई। अपना फ्रेंड कोमा में चले गए, उसको राइट और रॉन्ग कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है।
Look, Janvi, the show must go on. It's a big hit.
Unbelievable.
हेलो, प्रॉब्लम बोलो।
डैड ने न्यूज़पेपर मैट्रिमोनियल से मेरे लिए एक लड़का पसंद किया है। वो कहते हैं एक बार मिलो और डिसाइड करो, लेकिन एक मीटिंग में उसे कैसे जज करूं? वो तो अच्छा ही बिहेव करेगा ना।
आदमी को परखना हो तो ये देखो कि अपने से नीचे तबके के लोगों से वो कैसे बर्ताव करता है।
कहाँ से बोल रही हो?
रेस्टोरेंट से। वो अभी मुझे यहाँ मिलने आ रहा है।
अच्छा, वेरी गुड। देखो, अगर वो वेटर को या करके बुलाए तो वहां से कट लेने का।
You must be Priya. Rahul.
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you. What can I get for you?
टी?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one cappuccino for me and tea for the lady. Lady? कहाँ गया?
थैंक्स अ लॉट मुरली। इस छूछूत के साथ उम्र पर रहना पड़ता तो मर जाती।
मुंबई के वासियों, लकी सिंह तुमको जहाँ भी दिखे उसे फूल देने का और उसको बोलने का कि उल्टा कर, तेरा गेट वेल सून हो जाएगा मामो। इधर आओ। ले लीजिए।
अरे रख लेना मामू, तेरे लिए फ्री है। गेट वेल सुन लकी।
वो मेरे ऊपर के फ्लैट में रहता है और रोज सीढ़ियों से पान चबाते हुए उतरता है और मेरे घर के बाहर आते ही उसे थूकने का मन करता है और वहीं मेरे दरवाजे के बाहर थूक के चला जाता है। मन करता है साले का गला दबा दूं।
उल्टा कर, उल्टा। उसको थूकने दे और रिटर्न में ना उसको एक मस्त स्माइल दे। फिर उसके सामने उसका रंगोली साफ कर।
चाकू ना पिस्तौल ना खंजर ना कोई तलवार रे, एक मुस्कान की देखो ताकत अपना नया हथियार रे। ओ प्रेम प्यार का सबक सिखा कर रखी देश की आन रे, इंसान को सिखला के गए बस बनना एक इंसान रे। अरे 3 दिन से उसका थूक साफ कर रहा हूँ, मैं बोलता हूँ नहीं समझेगा वो।
अबे बापू बोलते हैं सब्र रखने का, एक दिन उसको शर्म आएगी, समझा?
Sorry.
बोले तो गांधीगिरी जिंदाबाद।
Up it actually.
टीचर हूँ बेटा, उम्र भर बच्चों को सिखाया कि रिश्वत लेना देना गलत है, और आज मुझे ही अरे अफसर कहता है 5,000 दो। 2 साल हुए पेंशन नहीं शुरू कर रहा है। अब मैं बड़ी तकलीफ में हूँ बेटा।
पेंशन तो तेरा हक है अंकल, उसका बाप भी देगा।
क्या करूँ बेटा, तुम बताओ।
उसको शर्मिंदा कर, वो जो भी कर रहा है दुनिया को बता। एक आइडिया देता हूँ।
नमस्ते। ये 1200 है।
1200 क्यों पकाने आ जाते हो?
धीरज रखो बेटा, और दे रहा हूँ। ये चश्मा 500 का है। ये हियरिंग एड 500 की। घड़ी 800 की है। डायबिटीज की गोलियां 18 रुपयों की।
ये सब क्या हो रहा है मास्टर?
रुकिए रुकिए, एक मिनट।
अरे क्या कर रहे हैं आप?
शर्ट 200 की है।
मास्टर जी बहुत हो गया।
एक मिनट।
अरे मास्टर जी, ये बनियान
25 की बनियान। बेल्ट 100 रुपये की। शूज 300 रुपये के हैं।
क्या कर रहे हैं आप? बस करो मास्टर जी, अरे बस करो, मैं हाथ जोड़ता हूँ, मैं फाइल दे रहा हूँ तुम्हारी मास्टर। अरे अभी बस करो, बस करो।
पैंट 300 रुपये की है।
मैं साइन कर रहा हूँ। मैं मोइले पेंशन दे इसकी, भगा।
ना गदर हुआ ना लहू बहाना हुआ कोई संग्राम रे, चले तूफानी लहर चले हर शहर शहर हर गांव रे।
Yeah, so
I've got to see that film again.
So actually, what I was trying to say, when you the scenes look unseen because you're picking up from your life and modifying it to suit your script, everything. So the moment you dig deep into your experiences, it might sometimes not be an experience. It could be read somewhere. It could be a newspaper report. It could something you just stayed back, and the good things stay back actually. So talking of writing, I think, as I said, the first principle we follow is try and find a unique story. Then we say pick triggers from life. The other thing we actually try and tell ourselves is make the film for yourself. You know, most times actually we are trying to judge what a viewer will like. And I think that's a big mistake because it's very difficult to figure out what a viewer is going to like because the tastes are so different from, you know, somebody sitting in Chicago to somebody sitting in Patna. And how do you judge what everybody, you know, so you can't ever make an attempt to make a film. You say, oh, this is going to be a universal film. People are going to like it. You go bit with your gut feel and say, this is what I like. While writing, you will feel it from within. You will laugh at the joke. You will cry when you write an emotional scene. And, you know, tastes will vary. If you're lucky, you might find resonance of what you like with a majority of people. Sometimes you might not find it. Sometimes an idea you like might resonate with a fewer people, but at least there'll be some purity in it. There'll be some truth in the story that you say, okay, I made it truthfully. I like it. There'll be some amount of people who will like this. So that it won't be, you know, it won't be something which you're doing it for others. You don't say, you know, let me put this song, this somebody else will like, this circuit will like, or that circuit will like, these are the, so genuinely try and say, okay, make it for yourself. Judge it by your parameters rather than saying, well, you cannot be in that person's place and say, this is what I like. So, and one more thing we actually do is what we call the LCD principle, which I'm sure you all have heard about it, which I don't know, it's there on some YouTube thing, and which we call L is for laughter, C is for a cry, and D is for drama. So the whole idea is that whenever you write, try and make sure that every scene has one of these elements. You know, the problem is to hide exposition. For the first year students, they'll understand what exposition is. That a lot of information you have to give about characters when you write a story. You have to give information, okay, where does he live, what does he do? he's this kind of a person. But that exposition has to be hidden. That should not be, you should not waste screen time for showing exposition. That's where your craft will come in. You avoid and try and get drama in everything. Try and get, so I never keep any of those scenes where, you know, a car will come and stop. Okay, I'm going to go there, then a car comes and stops, or a man travels. I just cut to the next scene. I don't want lags. I want to go to the next bit of drama. So again, to give you an example of Three Idiots, actually, if you remember the first scene, I have that clip, but I won't show that clip again. Now it'll be too long. The first scene, actually,
we have time. We can show it.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
Okay, so I'll just describe the scene first. When on paper, when we had written it, the scene was that Madhavan is sleeping in his house, and he gets a call, and we see the person who's calling him, which is Chatur, and he calls him and he tells him, Farhan, we've found Rancho, and you want to meet him? Come and meet me in the college. And Farhan would get up and call up Sharman, whose name was Raju in the film, and then they both would go there. Now this is a scene. Now I wanted to make it more dramatic. Now that's where the exposition comes in. I wanted to show how important Rancho is into the life of these two people, how much they value him. And Amir comes much later in the film. He's right, I think 17th, 18th minute he comes into the film. So I wanted to build up so much of curiosity about him. By the time he lands, you should already be loving him. Now, how do you do it? One way is most boring way is dialogues. अरे रैंचो क्या कमाल का आदमी था यार, उसने हमारी जिंदगी बदल दी. कितना ऐसा आदमी कहाँ मिलता है लाइफ में लोगों को यार. You do it the most boring way. You give all the information you want to the viewer. That's more boring. So other things to visually do something, or through drama without words do something. So which is what we did finally. We shifted that scene of Madhavan from his house into the plane. And we held the information that what was happening. You see the scene, then we can talk about it, actually. Elfia, that's the second.
Yes, sir, yes.
It's a small one, actually. We can stop.
हेलो हाँ क्या
Sir, kindly switch off your mobile phone.
just 1 second please 1 second please excuse me excuse me
Sir, please sit down. Captain, there's a medical emergency. A passenger has just fallen down on the aisle.
Delhi Air India 101 returning to medical emergency.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
नहीं मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ थैंक यू आप लोग जाइए मैं चला जाऊंगा जेंटलमैन वेट गाड़ी निकालो यार। तुसी मिस्टर ढिल्लोन क्यों नाम यहाँ टैटू कराओ क्या? अरे जल्दी निकालो यार गाड़ी। ओके सर, आइए सर।
Yeah. So what I was trying to say here was that imagine now that phone call coming to Madhavan while he's sleeping versus putting him up in the plane. One, it makes the scene more dramatic. And two, it is serving another purpose is of actually making the other character who we've not yet seen extremely important. You wonder that who is this man? For him, this guy can bring a plane down. You know, he can make an emergency landing for that guy. So their friendship actually is without saying he's my great friend, he's my this thing. You've achieved this without doing that. So I think this is where it's not easy. It's not all the time easy. We all fail at the same times. Sometimes you do it and then so shit, how do we do it? Because you know, while writing, sometimes we commit the basic mistake of saying, okay, this is my plan, I'm going to do this, I'm going to rob this bank. And then you show the bank being robbed. And then you show that character going home and saying, you know, Dad, I robbed this bank. So you give the same information 3 times. And we all, when we write, we still commit those mistakes. And then you say, no, you don't reveal anything. You say, I'm going to do something. And then you show the bank robbery. Then you say, oh, this is what he was planning. So then the audience is more engaged. So that's what I meant by creating drama and hiding exposition as much as possible. Sometimes you succeed, you fail. But try and achieve that in your writing. Whenever you do that, hide exposition as much as you can. Let the information come very indirectly in a different way. And within scenes, try and create as much as. But at the same time, let me say this with a statutory warning that there are no rules. Every cinema is different. Everybody's got the right to do things whatever way they want. This is what I keep doing. So there are no right. That's why I never judge any film. You know, there's no right. It takes a huge amount of effort to make a film, and everybody's right or wrong in their own way. So, but these are the few things we follow as far as writing is concerned.
Okay, I've got not that many questions. Listen, so many hands out there. Ankita,
Okay.
you've been up for a while. Go ahead, Ankita.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Go
so Raju sir, it's really a pleasure to see you. I mean, it's just I'm actually getting nervous right now. But my question is, you said you worked on advertisement industry as an editor. So and you also studied editing in FTII, right? And you gave the paper for direction, but you couldn't get through, right? So what was the point when you realized that this is the moment that I have to, you know, jump into the direction field and I have to make this masterpiece Munna Bhai MBBS as my directorial debut? That is nice. Matlab, who were the inspirations, or was it the self-exploration, or was it this journey from the time you decided to come in FTII? Yeah, that's my question.
See, I think I don't know about today, but when I got into the institute, very honestly, nobody knew what editing was. Even I didn't know what editing was. I actually applied for direction and I couldn't get through. So somebody told me, you know, apply for editing. There are far less people who apply for editing. And my basic question was, what is editing? And he said, how does it matter? Get into the institute. That's important. And that's the reason I applied in editing and got in. But in hindsight, when I look back, I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because editing, I think, taught me so much. So that even now when I'm writing, it helps me to write. I even crunch my dialogue to the last word. While shooting, it helps me. I can see the pauses, I can see the cuts, and of course, I edit myself hands-on. So I came to direct, and so there was never a point that from editing I wanted to shift. But when I came to Bombay, there were no links, and those days, if you assisted somebody in direction, was tough to kind of even survive then. So and if you're not from Bombay, you don't have a home. So I chose to edit for a few years. I said, okay, let me edit. But deep down, you always wanted to make a film. And I was continuously writing a script for many years. I wrote Munna Bhai MBBS, because I had a lot of exposure with, a lot of my friends went into medical school, and so I used to spend a lot of time with them in Nagpur. So I'd written a story about 3 medical students. But every time it wasn't going anywhere, so I wrote another script. And I continued editing. And from that, I started getting some ad films to do. So started doing that. but I always wanted to go back and make a film. So that's what, as Pankaj told you, it finally took 15 years after passing out to make that first film. But I was happy doing what, it's not that I was unhappy doing, I was editing a lot, and I was editing anything that came my way, from television serials to audiovisuals to feature films to documentaries, anything that came. And when I look back, I think that kind of, I not only enjoyed doing it, that somewhere actually honed my skills in some way. Yeah.
Raju, can I ask a question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
So Raju, one of the things everybody said about you was your humility. Now, I've always believed that there is no creativity without humility. So, but if you look at your films, every film seems to have come from a very, very thorough belief system of your own. There's not a single film that you made that feels like, chalo kahani banate hain aur film banate hain, hit karwa dete hain. Because a lot of people do that and they succeed also. But what I find about your films, interestingly, that whichever way you do it, they seem to come from a very deep belief system. Can you just talk about that?
So, as I said, actually, you want to make a film. You know, everybody who comes to the city wants to make a film. Everybody's come to the institute wants to make a film. And I came to this city to make a film, but just not to make a film to show it to somebody else. And so, and the first film I wrote, Munna Bhai MBBS, came from some exposure with medical students, some exposure with this thing. It found a resonance. I remember showing it to friends, to my family, my dad, mom, everybody loved it. And that was great joy. I was pretty happy with that. Okay, I made my first film. It's okay now. So it wasn't a rush to, now get into a second film and do anything. In fact, I got very scared, I would say. After the first film, I got more scared than anything else I didn't want to do anything that was not coming from within. And there was huge amount of insecurity. There were many scripts I wrote actually for the second one. And I constantly felt, this is not it. I've seen this kind of stuff. This is not it. In fact, second film, I think sometimes is far more difficult than the first film. But first film is coming from so many years of, wanting to do it, so many ideas. So second film is now, what do you do with the second one? So in a way, I've been very insecure. So I've chosen subjects which are completely, I identify with, I believe in it. Otherwise, I don't do it. I'll tell you a funny story here, actually. I can maybe take a name here. David, I'm sure he won't mind if he hears it. It's with this. I'm sure he won't know. He came with a lot of, he saw my first film, David Dhawani saw my first film, and he loved it. And after it released, I met him somewhere. He came, he put his arm around me and he said, kitna film sign kiya? So I said, nahi sir, abhi to script hi nahi hai, likh raha hu script dusri. हाँ, तो क्या कर रहा है यार? 5 फिल्म साइन कर ले, 5 साइन कर ले, उसमें से 3 फ्लॉप होंगी, 2 हिट होंगी, फिर और 5 साइन करना. मेरी 35 हो चुकी है. तो I went and thought about it. I said, यार ऐसे कैसे होगा? 3 फ्लॉप होंगी, मतलब क्या है? And I continued writing. I didn't have a script, so I continued hunting for one and writing and rewriting. I met him 6 or 8 months later somewhere else, and with a lot of affection, actually. He genuinely liked it and there was no malice in it. He again put his arm around me. He says, कितना साइन किया? मैं कहा नहीं सर, वही स्क्रिप्ट में अटका हूं अभी तक. I'm struggling with it. नहीं साइन किया. कहता पागल है, मेरी 37 हो गई. So signed. So I was very scared, Shikhar. Actually, I've been very, I'm still, I don't even sign, I don't even reach out to actors till I have a complete script where I feel now, because I feel if I go to an actor with half-ready script, then the pressure will start mounting. That we like it more or less, and I'm sure you'll do it. So, and what if it doesn't reach anywhere? So that also takes time. By the time you reach out to an actor, then he's doing something else. So then you wait for it. So my rate, as your run rate, is like 3 films, 1 film in 3 years, 4 years. So you've been also extremely choosy, as I know. So it's the same in a way, that very scared to make something which I don't like from within.
Yeah. Okay, lots of raised hands. Who do I go for? Who hasn't asked a question?
Hello,
Saurabh.
sir. Hello, sir.
Can I ask a hello, sir. I am from TV editing. May I ask a question?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yes, I can't see.
Since you are from editing, how does it help when you're directing a film to be an editor? On set, while directing a scene, how does it help being an editor?
Yeah. So what happens actually, I kind of do my shot breakdown much in advance, even before going to sets. I go to the location many times, work with the assistants and kind of figure out but that's not rigid. You still give the freedom to the actors. You say, okay, how you want to do it, then you modify it. But I'm seeing it when an actor is doing it, you're seeing it like that, and you know, okay, this is what, as Shikhar was saying, that you know that this is what you need. So you cut it there. It happened with so many times. Amir through videos used to say, "मेरे को पूरा करने तो दे, तू पूरा क्यों नहीं करने दे रहा है? मेरे को let me cry. I was just warming up to that crying." I said, "But I got it." So the biggest joke with all actors is, especially Baman, I remember, you can see the pauses. You feel this pause is too long. This will not stay. And if I have to keep that 4 lines of the actor, if he's going to take a pause such long after 2 lines, I can see it in the edit. It's not going to stay. I will have to cut it to a reaction of somebody else, take a line there and come back to this actor. But if I feel that these 4 lines should stay on this actor, then the pause has to be removed. So I keep, this was my sign with Baman. Crunch it, crunch it. तो वो टेक देके ऐसे देखता था, मेरे को बोलता था, okay, crunching it. So what happens, because you edit, I would suggest to every director who's making a film, now you have software available on it. Get a lot of material and edit hands-on yourself. Finally, you work with an editor, but keep doing it so you can get a feeling of a rhythm of shots, rhythm of cinema. So it helps to see that. So as a director, it helps in the way that you know exactly this is what you need. You don't need these extra shots. So this is an angle you're going to use. For that, you're going to cut to that. Otherwise, you know what a lot of directors would do is, I'm not saying any wrong or right way, but a lot of directors would actually cover the scene from many angles. You'll say, okay, let's take this from this long shot. Let's take it from this channel. Let's do little tracks in here. So you're spending actually a lot of time. So you're making the actors do those scenes 10 times to cover it from all angles. But if you edit yourself, then you're very sure that this is the way you see it, and you don't need too much. You can finish much faster.
Thank you, sir.
Hello,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sorry, we'll go on. I'm feeling bad that I'm selecting people with so many hands up there. But so make your questions short so I can be in here.
Okay, sir. Sir, so my question is, since we know that after reading stories or after watching movie, a good movie or whatever, sir, we come to see that the drama is the only thing which which is main essence of any story. So how do you define drama, sir? My question is that.
So I think first of all, let me, again, I don't want to put anything in somebody's head that LCD you have to do, because nowadays you see such variety of cinema and they still engage you. So there are no rules as such. But as I said, okay, for me, drama is important. And if I was to define drama, I would say to playing with the mind of the viewer in a way that you are making him uncertain of what is going to happen next. That uncertainty, that desire to want to know a little more, desire to be hooked onto it. Oh God, what is happening? Oh, he's got a heart attack. Oh God, he's bringing the plane down. Oh God, will he survive? And suddenly there's a change of event. No, oh, he played a prank. Not a prank, he actually brought it down for something else. So then I've taken the viewer onto something. Why is he doing it? For what? Oh, there's a call. If you notice in that film, we held the call back. Actually, we had shot with Chatur's voice. That Chatur is saying, I found your friend. But I removed that voice. I said, no, hold that information. We'll give it out later. It's anyway coming later. So as a viewer, you want to know. So that desire to know more in a way it's drama. Drama doesn't necessarily mean explosions and bigger explosions and bigger explosions. That's a very physical form of drama that you will tire out after a way. You know, how bigger can your explosion get? But if you engage them with the storyline, and if you create drama with the story, uncertainty of what's going to happen next, that's drama to me.
Can I go next?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead. Make it crisp, small.
Okay. So I'm going next, right? So Saurabh.
Okay, thank you so much, Vidit. Sir, my question was, sir, a lot of us students will be embarking on our first script, and we often hear conversations about don't think about the cost of while writing your script, and but don't corrupt your creativity in those costing things. And there's also a flip side to the same conversation, that when we are writing a script, we may not, while we are writing, we don't know if we'll ever get budget to make it. Maybe we'll have to make it on our own and things like that. Sir, I'm also asking this question when I see PK. I noticed that every 5 to 10 minutes we are changing the location of in the story, except for the climax, which happens in the studio. Whereas in MBBS, most of the film is made in one hospital. So what would your advice be for first-time writer directors, that should one really negotiate themselves with the costing of the production of the film while writing the script?
See, cinema is not a inexpensive thing. Cinema is an expensive hobby. So so somewhere you have to be aware of the costs. But I wouldn't say that you completely hold yourself back and say that, you know, मेरे पास पैसे नहीं होंगे, मैं ऐसे बनाऊं. I think in the first round, you should write whatever comes to your mind. You write keeping what comes into mind. But at the same time, you are aware that somewhere as a person, if you're writing, you'll be aware that this is the kind of money I'm going to get. I'm going to struggle with money. So I suddenly can't, you know, think of doing a Bahubali. So that would be very stupid to suddenly think, okay, I'm not going to hold myself back. I'm going to write a Bahubali, and then how are you going to make it? So somewhere you're aware of it. But in the first round, go for it. And as you progress, you will see that you can't do certain things. But surprisingly, solutions will come of cheaper ways of doing those things. You'll find methods by which, and sometimes I feel when you're in a corner, you come up with better solutions, actually. You come up with better solutions, and you find ways to do those things in a far better way than you actually thought. You know, it's not that every time you have to show a big thing. Sometimes dramatically, you have to, like again, going back to Three Idiots, I remember there's a scene where Sharman jumps off the director's office, and he jumps off. And not that by Three Idiots we had any budget issues or something, but we were struggling. How do we make him jump off? We wanted to show the fall. Murli was shooting the film. How do we make it look interesting? How do we do it? And then actually Murli came up with this idea where he said, let's not show the fall. Let's not show the fall. If you go back to the scene, you'll see there's a table lamp lying there, and he climbs, his feet get entangled in a wire, and then we don't see the fall. We just see the director is getting himself shaved there, and this table lamp comes and hits almost the lens, and bah! The next you cut is already down. So, of course, this was more a cinematic call, but I'm saying sometimes you will feel that, no, I have to do it like this, but you will find solutions which are far more engaging, and they don't cost money. So you'll be able to find solutions which don't cost money.
Yeah. So I'm going next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm from screenwriting, and so you have written 6 films, including Ferrari Ki Sawari. And so what I've noticed that the father-child conflict is pretty much common in every story. So so are you aware that you're writing you're writing that father-child conflict, like when you're writing the whole script? Because when I'm going to the theater, even though I know there will be a conflict of father and child, I'm excited to see what conflict this is this time, but it's coming up in your every story. So are you aware of it, or is it coming organically?
No, somebody actually had made me aware of this. See, when you write, you're writing subconsciously, but what you told me just now, in fact, I think just a few years back, somebody pointed this out, and so then it occurred to me, I've been constantly doing it. And as I said, most writing comes from your preferences from life, and you will like a certain scene and you'll say, you'll get attracted to it. Somebody else might not get attracted to it. It comes from totally what you experience. And I had a very interesting relationship with my father, and had huge influences from him. In fact, he was who kind of pushed me to go to FTI, and coming from a small town that time, Nagpur, and he used to run a typewriting institute and sell typewriters, and it was assumed that a son grows up, he'll do his graduation, join his father. So he was very unusual that time. It was unusual for him to think. He says, "Nani, yaar, you do theater and all, you do this very well. Why are you thinking with me? Go and do this." So he pushed me to go to FTI, because I used to do a lot of theater, and so I had major influences from his life. So they subconsciously, I guess, keep coming in. In Munna Bhai, that whole Sanju, there are many scenes actually, or the Charman scene where he goes to his father when he says he doesn't want to do engineering, happened with me. I was supposed to do chartered accountancy and I didn't want to do it. So I went to my father to say that I don't want to do it. And he looked at me and said, "नहीं करना तो छोड़ ना, क्यों कर रहा है? चल आजा कल से ऑफिस में आजा, बैठेंगे." And even that first scene in Munna Bhai MBBS came from his life, where Sunil Dutt's introduction is there. He gets out of the railway station, and there's a pickpocket who he gets his purse, and he's caught, and everybody wants to hit him, and Sunil Dutt stops them from hitting him. He says, "क्या यार, सबका problem है, इसका भी problem चल रहा है, तुम सबके life में problem है, we're living in a life." And he actually saves him, and so which happened with me as a kid. I saw it happening. There was somebody who had walked up to my dad's office and borrowed money from him, saying, "I've come from Raipur and मेरे को 2000 रुपए दे दो." And you know, there was a lot of community feeling in those days. So small town, a Sindhi man meeting another Sindhi man, he thought, "ये तो अपना ही है यार, बिरादरी का, उसको दे दिया 2000." Much later, I discovered that this guy was a fraud, and he had done this to many people. And everybody was complaining in the city about him. So he went hunting for him. He found him in a lodge at 5 in the morning. He caught him and brought him home. And then he didn't know what to do with him. So there used to be this little panchayat kind of a Sindhi panchayat kind of where all the elderly men of the community would meet up. So he took him there. And as a kid went there with him. And he told them, you know, ये इसने ऐसा किया है सबका. And they said, हमको भी पता है, तो इसका क्या करना है अभी? So one guy from that panchayat got up and started hitting the thief. And he says, "हाँ, छोड़ दो इसको, हम देखते हैं." So my dad stopped him. And he said, इसको मारने का नहीं, मार तो मैं भी सकता हूँ इसको, मैं आप लोग से बेटर मार सकता हूँ, वो नहीं है, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, इसका भी यार अपना ही बंदा है, इसका करें क्या? तो इसे नहीं छोड़ दो, मारते हैं. And he again slapped him. He got so angry with him, and I distinctly still remember it. He looked at all those eminent people. There were like 7-8 of them sitting there. And he looked at them and told the thief, he says, "ये देखो, ये जितने लोग बैठे हैं, ये सारे चोर हैं. कोई इनकम टैक्स की चोरी करता है, उसका ट्रक है, वो इंश्योरेंस का पैसा कमाता है, वो एक्सीडेंट दिखाता है, ये सारे चोरी करते हैं. और तू इडियट चोर है, क्योंकि तू ऐसे जेब काटता है और ऐसे लेके जाता है. चोर बनना है तो ऐसा बनना, ऐसा मत बनना." And he took him back to the station, bought him a railway ticket, and sent him back to from where he had come from. So that came into a film in a different way. But yeah, I guess to answer your question, they are all influences of life which kind of attract you more to write a scene in a particular way.
Hi, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So I am again from the editing department, and this is a question more from a junior to a senior, wherein I really want to know your experience as a student in the first year. You know, something wherein when you stepped in, because right now, again, unfortunately, it's an online mode that we are studying it. I sometimes find it difficult to navigate, because we saw, say, suppose Money called Sata Se Hota Aadmi in the first week, and I was like really intimidated. So I really want to know, how did you navigate, through the first semester, through the first year, and all these.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing you're asking me. And first of all, I feel very bad that all the first year students who've joined in now are instead of being in campus now have to be online and do these kind of things, and that's very sad, because I distinctly remember when I as a student had got that our days telegrams used to come to say that you've been selected. And I couldn't leave the telegram for that whole day saying, "Arey, admission ho gaya, mera admission ho gaya." Pocket mein leke main ghoom raha tha pura din ki mera admission ho gaya. And I was waiting for that day to be on campus. So I can completely identify with the need to be on campus. But it's very unfortunate that the scenario, the COVID, and I think students are the biggest sufferers today, that they have to do these kind of things. So, but I'm sure this will go away one day. You will be on campus and you will love it. So as far as coming to my experience, so I landed up, I still remember this, we train coming from Nagpur, Maharashtra Express. सुबह 6 बजे पहुंचती थी, 6 बजे हम पहुंचे. I was looking to this, be on campus. 7 बजे campus में पहुंचे. 2-3 घंटे तो बैठे रहे वो. There was this Boomkar, Pankaj will remember, who was a manager, hostel manager, waiting for him to get a hostel room. Hostel room मिला और शाम को ragging शुरू हो गई. चलो ठीक है, that also we used to enjoy. That was good fun. So 3 days went, and on the 3rd day there was a strike. We went on a strike, and as part of the ragging, we were supposed to be sitting and protesting. I think Mrinal Sen was the chairman of the governing council there, and he was supposed to come, and we were told कि उसके room के सामने बैठ जाओ और protest करो. Protest था कि we want more stock and we want flexibility. ना मुझे फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी का मतलब समझ में आ रहा था क्या होता है, ना मुझे स्टॉक का मतलब समझ में आ रहा था क्या हो रहा है, पर बैठ के हम नारे लगा रहे थे कि बाद में समझ में आया फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मतलब ऑप्शन टू गो फ्रॉम दिस कोर्स टू दैट कोर्स, एंड स्टॉक वाज 35 mm रॉ स्टॉक. नारे लगाते रहे. फिर कोई क्लास नहीं होती थी, जीबीएम्स होते थे जिसमें शाम को सारे स्टूडेंट्स मिलते थे, एंड मिस्टर जीबीएम सर, वी हैड दिस वन स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम नाइजीरिया आई थिंक, सारे वो लड़ता रहता था, सारे लड़ते रहते थे. एंड इफ यू आस्क मी ऑनेस्टली, I started getting a severe headache, a migraine. My dream came crashing down. I started feeling कि यार मैं ना इनके जैसे बात कर सकता हूँ, क्योंकि शाम को फिर वो कुछ मिलते थे. हमारे बैच में ये था, नाम नहीं लूंगा अभी किसी का. वो first day, it was actually I just landed and I had gone to the hostel. I went to take a leak. He was standing right next to me, taking a leak, and he looked at me and says, "I'm so and so, and what's your name?" "I'm a poet." And he started narrating a poetry. जो मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आई. मैं 7 दिन के बाद मुझे लगा कि आई एम नॉट फिट फॉर दिस प्लेस. यार मुझे कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, ये तो बहुत इंटेलेक्चुअल्स हैं, बहुत इंटेलिजेंट लोग हैं, और ये तो डिजास्टर हो गया यार. मेरी पूरी ड्रीम खत्म हो गई. 10-15 दिन वहां पे थे और उस स्ट्राइक ही चले जा रही थी. मैंने कहा क्या है, स्ट्राइक चले जा रही है यार, हम पढ़ने आए हैं यहाँ पे, ये हो क्या रहा है यार. और मैं चला गया वापस. आई वेंट बैक टू नागपुर. आई थिंक दैट कंटिन्यूड फॉर अ मंथ और सो. Then we got a letter saying come back and it's all over, and we came back. But I came back very depressed. But when the classes started, I think we used to have those camera practicals where we would given a still camera. We had to go out, take pictures, come back. Then we had to develop those, and they were projected on this thing. Nair Saab was there. फिर जब वो शुरू हुआ, फोटो लेने लगे, फिर हम काम करके अपना काम देखने लगे स्क्रीन पे. एंड फिर मुझे लगा यार ये तो मेरा फोटो अच्छा है यार, ये जो बड़ा इतनी बातें कर रहा था यार, ये बहुत बड़ी इंटेलिजेंट बातें कर रहा था, इंटेलेक्चुअल, उसका तो साला का आउट ऑफ फोकस है यार. इतना तो मुझे समझ में आता है कि फोकस करना तो मुझे आता है उससे बेटर यार, मैं बात नहीं कर सकता हूँ. फिर देन यू मीट लाइक माइंडेड पीपल. देन लाइक Sriram Raghavan was my batchmate. There were a lot of other people, and I don't know how it is now, but that time actually there was a whole opposition to Hindi cinema. कि Hindi cinema इनको आता नहीं कुछ यार, हम तो we are watching the European cinema and that is cinema. But I luckily found some people who loved Hindi cinema, so we would want Hindi films to play every Sunday. They would, so that's where I got exposed to Guru Dutt, Vimal Roy, and all these kind of films, because जो हमने देखे नहीं थे, they were before our era, and there was no way to really see those films in those times. वो exposure मिला. फिर if you ask me, in spite of all the problems, in spite of all, हम आए तो strike हुई, गए तो भी strike हुई, पर वो 3 साल, in spite of that, if anything changed my life, it was the institute. The most worthy time, because you're living in an environment where you're talking only cinema, you're seeing cinema, you're breathing cinema. You might have good teachers, you might not have good teachers, you whatever, a mix of everything, but it was just cinema. And if I have to look back to my best years in life, those were those 3 best years. Because I learned, actually you feel finally you learned. And when you come back to Bombay, you still unlearn. You unlearn lots what you learned, but finally I think, I know it's tough time this thing, but once you get back, these are going to be the best years of your life. And I would say, don't be judgmental about anything. Don't be digging deep कि ये ऐसे नहीं हो रहा है, वो वैसे नहीं हो रहा है, ये cinema ठीक नहीं है. I keep telling, actually, when people join cinema, one thing I keep telling people is that, there's an innocence of watching films. When we watch films, before you join the institute, there was an innocence of watching films. Once you join an institute, you will learn a lot of things. You will suddenly, when you watch the film next, you will understand, depth of field. You will understand a match cut. You will see a shot. You will see a track. You will see a plot point. You will see so many things in cinema now. And there's one thing you're going to lose, is the innocence of watching a film. You will not be able to watch it like the way you watched it before. So try and not lose, because the moment you judge cinema, you will lose that innocence. Enjoy the cinema for it. Learn that craft, but enjoy for it. And हर किस्म का cinema is okay यार. उसको judge मत करो कि मेरा better है, उसका खराब है, उसका better था. Judge मत करो. It's a great journey यार. You can whole life live on a vacation actually. If you love cinema, you'll continue making cinema. Pick up your phones, pick up your laptops, make films, and go out and make the most of it. So I guess that.
Hi sir. Thank you. Hi sir. Actually, my question to you is, how do you approach the sound for a film, and what is your communication with the sound design of the script to the screen?
So Vishwadeep Chatterjee, I'm sure you've met him or aware of him. He's done most of my films. So what we do actually is, once the script is written, so we don't wait till the end of the film to say, now the film is done and now let's sit with the sound recordist and let's tell him what we've done. You actually sit with the sound recordist like how would you sit with a cameraman or with a music director or something. You sit with the sound recordist also, who's sound designing, and narrate the script to him. Have multiple sessions with him. Take his inputs, because he will be able to see certain things which you won't, because you're focusing on too many things. He'll suddenly come up with this, this is a great area for, I've scoped to do something with the sound here. I can do something, so think it like this. So it's always good to involve them right from the beginning. And everybody contributes. Cinema is a collaborative art. You cannot say that, one person is creating it. It's everybody has equal importance. Sometimes I pick up great action scenes and put the sound off and see it. And it is a disaster. It is a disaster. You feel, अच्छा ये तो यार क्या है, इसमें कुछ भी नहीं है, ये तो short simple है, ले सकते हैं shots. Shot में jerk भी दिख रहे होते हैं, सब कुछ दिख रहा होता है. But a sound, how a track of music, how one ambient sound covers up all that. So a sound designer does magic to your films. Please understand his importance, his, her, whatever. And so involve them right from the beginning. And nowadays sync sound is done. So Nihar has done most of my films, who's again a ex-student. So, and once that is all done, then we sit, then I kind of leave it with Vishwadeep, let him do the first run of it. He puts in all the sound effects he does. We do music separately. We try and involve in every activity. Like even if, to give an example, when you do background score, how industry actually works in a fragmented way sometimes, that there's another recordist for doing the background score. There's another recordist for mixing the background score. Now, when you have two different people, your mix will be very different. Because somebody who's sitting on the mixing while he's taking the tracks, he exactly knows why was that violin placed. It was to highlight that one particular emotion. Why was that drum came momentarily. Now, when somebody is mixing with those 50 tracks, he might change the level up and down. He won't realize the importance of this thing. So I think you have to all work together, everybody understanding the script as much as possible, everybody on the same page as much as possible, then they can contribute. And they do contribute. Like Vishwadeep has changed the film so many times actually. That 3 Idiots scene, I remember, I'd never seen it like that. When that last scene, child delivery is happening, and Mona Singh is on the table tennis, this thing, and finally when she delivers the baby, he actually cut down the sound, everything. He just stopped everything. We had music track and we had so much. He just stopped everything. and just kept her breathing, and then brought the music much later. So sometimes you might be able to think of it, sometimes you don't. But the sound guy is just thinking of the dramatic impact of that scene with sound. Many times. Lagaro Bishwadi Paramember put that whenever Lucky Singh's phone used to ring, that time I in the edit had put a regular ringtone. So when I saw the final track, Bishwadi had put, when Lucky Singh's phone used to ring, it was a Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So it was so apt for a Punjabi guy like that to have that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star scream Punjabi. I cracked up. So he actually managed to give me a joke, give me a laugh just with a ringtone. So sound is of utmost importance. That's why we call it an audio-visual medium and not just a visual medium.
Just one. I just want to say something. Excuse me a second. Raju, I have to go back to my edit room.
Right, sir. Yeah, please.
But please carry on. This is absolutely fascinating. I'm going to ask Mr. Kantholia to go forward, but it's been, thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Really completely engrossed. Just promise us that you'll do it again.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, everybody. My editor is about to kill me if I don't. All right.
Take care, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, can I go next? Hello, sir. Sir, more than being a director and editor, you have also produced a film called Sala Kadus. So I would like to know what was the creative role of the producer in such a film, because someone like you being a producer, what type of inputs you were able to give rather than other kind of producer who only looks into the business. So what was the creative role of you in that film?
So actually that I happened to do that for various reasons. One night at 12 in the night, I got a call from Madhavan. He said, I want to come. And he sounded very troubled and disturbed. And he said, I want to come and have a drink. So he came at 12:30. And he said, there's a film I really love and I've been wanting to do that film. And I had somebody produce it. And but last minute, just now, it's not worked out. They kind of backed off and it's not happening. And so I sat down with him and I said, "Kya hai story?" So he told me the story in 20 minutes. And I said, yeah, sounds like an interesting film. And my whole thing was, yeah, look, I've never produced. We can produce. It doesn't mean not every time just putting the money. You can raise the money from somewhere and whatever. So I said, I can. So he said, can you help me make this? Can you present it or produce it or something? I said, I can help you, but I'm very scared to put my name because I don't know. I don't know what you just told me 20 minutes of the script. I don't know what kind of a film will be. And so he said, no, I will start the film. I'll shoot some portion and show you and see if you like it, then associate with it or don't. But I got worried. I said, okay, let me hear the script. Then I heard the script and I actually liked the script. And so then we all got together, we raised some money, and it was made in 2 languages, Tamil and Hindi. So I wasn't totally involved, but finally I never went on the shoot or anything. It was coming from him. I liked the overall idea. I said, go out and do it. But when it came back, when I saw the edit, I was not very happy with the edit. So then at that level, I sat with them for a couple of months to work on the edit with them and do the sound with them. And finally, so my role was actually, and also then, finally, then we have to make sure that it gets sold, it gets released, and all those kind of things we did. It didn't do well, but it did very well in Tamil. It did very well. In fact, the director of the film, Sudha, she did very well after that. She's recently made this film, Udan, on the life of the Deccan Airways, and it's a nice film. So I think it didn't do well, but the sensibilities were slightly different. So in that area it worked, it didn't work here. It was slightly too loud for, but I didn't want to, finally, when you're doing something, even if you're producing, then I guess you have to finally leave the director to do his own stuff, because two people, then it's just going to be too many cooks. So yeah, if you're a filmmaker, you do get involved in a little bit of creative this thing and all those kind of things.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm Priyanka. I'm a final year editing student. So we were supposed to be graduate by now, but because of the lockdown, it's been a year. We just left the diplomas. So I have a question for you. That since you're an editor and a director of all the films that you've done, how do you maintain that objectivity? Because directors are too attached to some shots or some scenes, and like I always struggle with this with my director. I've been working all my projects with him, and if he falls in love with a shot and he's like, no, we have to put it, and I'm like, no, this doesn't work. And so obviously a new pair of eye brings another objectivity to the project. But since you are like an editor and the director, so how do you distinguish and how do you maintain that objectivity?
No, I answered that a few minutes back, where I said you have to be very detached with your material. So I never get attached. And storytelling is of utmost importance to me. If I feel that it's not taking the story ahead, I would rather take it off. So I've done that. Even my last film, there was a whole song which we shot, and finally I thought it was stopping the story. So in a second I removed it. I said, no, it's not working, don't keep it. So many scenes you remove, rework. So you have to be very brutal with this thing. But I understand your battle when you're editing with a director and the director is attached to your material, and you see it differently. So director editor battles are legendary. It happens with all good editors where they want to put their foot down. But I think now you have a very simple choice, is make another edit. You say, okay, this is your edit and this is my edit. Choice is yours. Somewhere you try your best and say, okay, this I feel is a good option. Show it to people. Let him get an opinion. And then let him finally, you have to give up sometimes with, because when I was an editor, I would do the same. I would make 3 edits and say, ye bhi hai, chalo. Not on celluloid. We couldn't do that on celluloid. But the moment we came onto video, we could do multiple edits. And once we came on Avid, it was far more simpler to do as many edits you wanted. And then let them take a rational call. Finally, it's a director's. I said, okay, finally, it's your film. You choose. But I think this is working. And avoid conflict there. As you say, in real life, avoid conflict. In cinema, please get conflict.
I have another thing to ask. So I was seeing one of the interviews by Mr. Vinod Chopra, who's also an alumni, and he said that advertising makes you corrupt. So he's a firm believer of how advertising makes you corrupt, and everybody from film school, or when you're in film school, you have time and everybody goes and does advertising because you can't do films. So what I want to know your take on how advertising makes you corrupt and how it helps or it doesn't help in making a film eventually.
In my case, it didn't make me corrupt because even advertising didn't pay my bill. They paid me so little, even for ad films, it was not funny. I was never the A-grade ad filmmaker. I always got to do those 10-second or 15-seconders, and sometimes I had to put my own money to make it because I wanted to make it. I guess when you get a lot of money, which is, I guess, what happened with Vinod, he made very few films, but he made that Pepsi film and he made the ICICI films, and he was already a filmmaker of Parinda and films like that. Everybody looked up at him, and so he got a lot of money to make those films. So maybe in his case, yes, he must have said, "Yeah, this is too easy money. You shoot for 2-3 days and you make this kind of money, so I can spend my life doing all this. So I have to stop this and finally make my." So in his case, it was maybe true, but in my case, I never got to do that.
So did it like advertising helped you making the films that you made?
Of course. It honed my skills to see. I think editing honed my skills and advertising honed my skills to make it much sharper in terms of storytelling. Because when in 30 seconds you're trying to say a story, you have to completely look at it very, very differently. How do you communicate all that? You have to write it differently. You have to see it differently. You have to edit it differently. You have to shoot it differently. So you don't have the liberty of, coming from behind somewhere and do this. No, you have to get onto the point, but still make an impact. So all that helped. And I did lots of what you call audio visuals. You're an editor, so I think you should do this as an exercise if you get an opportunity. Audio visuals where, there was a phase that people would come and say that ये हमारा एक sales team का launch है. We are launching this soap, or we are launching this atta, or we're launching this thing. And they're these sales guys who are going to come for that. And we want to engage them, entertain them for, 15 minutes. So do something, create a song or make a 15-minute film or something. So I have done crazy things, and I did tons of those, actually. In fact, I got more money doing those than I got doing ad films, because that was difficult work where, actually, someday I'll show it to you all. You will laugh and wonder, you might say, kya kiya isne? But we would pick up, like for my rushes for that was a library called Sarvodaya Video Library in Bandra. So I remember there was a client who came who had launched atta, Annapurna atta. He said, यार ये Annapurna atta है, इसकी quality ये है कि ये बड़ा सॉफ्ट रोटियां बनती है इसकी, हमको ये दिखाना है हमारे सेल्स टीम को 15 मिनट में एज अ फीचर फिल्म. वैसे हम लेक्चर देते हैं तो वो 15 मिनट की कोई फीचर फिल्म बना दो, फीचर फिल्म जैसी स्टोरी लगे. So I made a feature film which will start with a censor certificate called Dilwale Annapurna Le Jayenge. It's a story about a guy in the search of a lady who can cook the softest rotis. And that time Dilwale had released. So I took footage of Dilwale from Shah Rukh, from various films, and I took footage from this thing, got a mimicry artist, got songs written around it, and made a 15-minute feature film in this, a man in search of a lady who cooks the best. This thing. It is hilarious. Actually, when I look back, it is hilarious, but it was tough. So rushes would be anything. One film of Shah Rukh from here, one film from there, and you are cutting from this person to that person from 2 different films. But that in a way hones your skill to say, okay, every shot is a different shot, but the moment you put them together, you can create a meaning which is completely another meaning. I don't have it now, otherwise I would have shown it to you all. So that's again kind of emphasizing the fact that what editing can do. So, you were creating absolutely another film out of footage which was not meant to show that. But the more you work on, more you keep honing your skills, more you keep up, more you do documentaries actually hones your skills too. Because documentary is not shot like fiction. It doesn't have a preconceived meaning. They're different shots, and how you put them together and create meaning is what creates that. Yeah. And I think I forgot what you asked. Did I answer it?
Yeah, thank you.
This is Dinesh here.
I have
can I ask
how much time? One sec, I'll just check with him. How much time do you have now, Raju sir? We are only 90 minutes into it. Do you have time?
We'll do it for 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes and a few questions, if that's okay.
Dinesh, yeah, please.
Yeah. So, Raju sir, thank you for doing this. And I'm just enamored that you shared a story where you were intimidated by this guy who was saying this poetry, and you felt like I'm no one, to a place where you have reached, where you are probably the most successful Bollywood director ever. And I think in the introduction, it should have been said that probably you have cracked the formula, how to make a film which is going to hit a chord and which is also going to make money. Sir, my just 2 questions, 2 very small questions. One is that you talked about exposition and how your type of storytelling is when you don't do any exposition. You don't like that. But my question is that doesn't it tells us then that the director is already aware of his or her audience, that he believes that the audience is going to understand the story without any explanation? That is question number 1. Question number 2 is thoda sa serious. Now, somebody like you, sir, who has struggled for 15 years and made his mark and made a lot of money, popular cinema, serious cinema, has the hiring rules in the industry changed? How do people hire newcomers in the industry, sir? Has it changed, or is it the same now? Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So to correct you, I never said ki don't give information about characters. Exposition is necessary. You need, as a viewer, you need information. But all I meant was to hide it. Don't give it openly and blatantly, that if I have to show an honest guy, that don't create a scene to show that here's an honest guy, somebody has dropped his wallet, he's going to pick up that wallet and return it. Now that whole scene, that 30 seconds done to show that, to me, that is a waste of time, because that is only to portray one character trait of a person. Now with so many characters, if you continue doing all that every time to show the backstory of a person or something, it's going to get boring. So I'm saying, of course, you have to give information about a character, but it has to be done in a very smart way that it doesn't seem like exposition. So the reason I showed you that Maddie's scene in the beginning was that it was very important for me to give this information about Rancho, that he's a true friend. He's done something which has changed the life of these two people. That was an information. But instead of saying that in words, I did it like this, in an invisible way. So information boring, giving information is boring. So exposition is to be not avoided, but done in a smarter way. That's what I meant by that. Coming to hiring of people in the industry, everybody very honestly is looking out for talent. Be it when you look out for script writers, actors, editors, cameramen, everybody looks out for this thing. And the only way for somebody to judge that is by a work. So whatever, you're from which, what's your specialization?
Cinematography, sir. TV
Cinematography.
department.
So I'm saying the moment you have your diploma, you have your other work or whatever, you go and shoot outside, make sure that you send it to as many people. And trust me, people see it. It's not that I get a lot of work from, I do see it, people. I read scripts which come to me. We all are looking out, for people to work with. And it might take its own sweet time, but it reaches people, and they're going to judge you only by your work, not by anything else. So just keep making as much work and putting it out. You'll find platforms where you can put it out. Sometimes you see a great work on YouTube. Sometimes you want to know who's done it. I've found so many people. I've reached out to people saying, "Who's done this?" Yeah, I see something completely independent work, and I said, "Kaun hai isko mil lo." So I meet people. So everybody wants a good script, good actors, good everything, and so it's become in fact simpler. Right? From earlier, it's become simpler. You can shoot on phones today. You can edit on this thing. You can put your work out on YouTube. You have platforms to put it out, and it can reach the world. Earlier, it was difficult to make your work reach people.
So the last the last question, sir, is from Mr. Mazhar Kamran. He's here now.
Arey, Mazhar is here.
Hi.
Hi, Mazhar.
Hi, Raju.
I would like
See you.
I'd just like to tell the students about Mr. Mazhar Kamran. He's a cinematography pass out of the institute, and currently he teaches at IIT Bombay, and he's also an IIT Madras alumni, and he shot the film Satya of Ram Gopal Varma and many other films. So Mazhar sir, over to you.
Yeah, no, so nice to hear you and to be here. Actually, Shekhar told me that you are going to speak, and
I had no idea you were there.
Yeah, so I just joined, very interesting hearing you. And let me add all the compliments. I vouch for all that. I've seen his humility and also his kindness, which was not mentioned, and which I can vouch for as somebody who received that. You may not remember, but because it was way back when I and Asim Sinha were new to Bombay, and we went to his house for some help, and he was very graceful about it. So yeah. So Raju, the question is, related to, I've worked on different kinds of sets of film and different kinds of directors, more into thrillers and so on. And while I love your films, they are very funny and very high on energy, and of course very successful and with so much heart. My question comes from that different schools of filmmaking, as in you go with like you said, unless you have a bound script, you don't even approach the actors. And there are people who just have an idea and on the fly start the film, and they're making interesting film. Like you said, there are no rules.
Absolutely.
So what I wanted to know was, So for humor and you have a bound script, you have it conceived, you have it written down. Now you are actually shooting it. Do you find yourself changing it as you go, or you like to stay with what is there? I mean, in a sense, you understand, is there room
Absolutely got it.
for
Yeah.
so an actor walks in, and something changes, right? When you are having it on paper, you may have thought of something else, and I've experienced these kind of things.
Yeah.
So what is your take on this, that you go with the script, or there is room for that? That
Yeah.
is one question that I thought I would like to ask you. Yeah. And also when you answer that, also a little insight into how you tackle humor, bringing out the best of comic moments, laughter that seems to be there, in your work. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mazhar, in fact, though I work very long and hard on a script, I kind of hone it till the last word is done. But still, I never lock the script. So when I'm on the sets, because I know if somebody is going to contribute to it, if an actor might come up with a great line, why should I stick to this thing that my script is sacrosanct and I'm not going to change it? So I completely keep it open. But what happens, because when you worked so long on a script, you've been on various roads. You've gone here and you found a dead end there. You've gone there, you found a dead end there. So most of the time when they come up with thoughts, this is not going to lead anywhere. So you say, no, this is not going to. Oh, this is I know a thought of it. Okay, let's explore this. And if it's just a matter of a line, then also you're able to judge that I can hold on to this line. It's not going to affect my entire narrative. In fact, it's going to add to it. Sometimes you might come up with a great line, but no, this is going to change. In the first scene, it's going to change here. So you're able to very quickly see it. So then you hold it. So I keep it very open. I keep it to contributions. Anybody who contributes, be it a cinematographer, be it a sound recordist, be it an actor, be it an assistant, anybody, finally the film is going to get better. Why not? Like Arshad Varsi has this habit of improvising. So a lot of lines actually in Munna Bhai have come from him. Things like that in the that jail scene in Lage Raho Munna Bhai, where he's inside a jail and he says ki yaar hum iske wajah se jail mein aa gaye, to kehta bhai pehle se andar hai aur aap kitna andar jayenge, something like that. It was something Arshad came up with on the spot. I cracked up. I said, a great line. Then Arshad will come up various lines and he still believes that I don't let him say the lines. But I said, but I've got so many great lines, but if you don't agree, you let it. That whole thing in Munna Bhai, he accidentally was shooting a scene with a Chinese guy. So he called him chili chicken. So we cracked up, we laughed. Then somewhere else, he called a doctor dispensary. So that gave me an idea. I said, this is great, yaar. I said, Arshad, now typically whenever you meet a new person, you should not address him with his name. You find a quirky name for him. So every time he meets, if you notice now, every time he meets a new person, he's got a quirky name for him. So if I say, no, if my script is sacrosanct, I'm not going to change it, I would have lost that humor. So you have to keep that room. But the risk in that is sometimes when two actors are working, the timing is great, they're enjoying on the sets, they can go completely wild and make a 30-second scene or 40-second scene into a 3-minute scene, which when you come to the editing table, you're gone. It won't work. So that alertness has to be there. No, I have to hold this. This I won't let it happen. This much I'll allow to happen. And that will come from the script. Once you spend enough man-hours on the script, you know that this is working, this is not working. Yeah.
So quickly,
I have one question.
if you could quickly describe your writing room, like when you sit together with Abhijat Joshi sir and with Vinod Chopra sir, if you could quickly describe what is the environment and like how much time you spend in it, what is the research, is there a brainstorming going on, or how do you go ahead with those conflicts of interest? Do you align? And just if you could describe your writing room.
So what happens, first, it all begins with one core thought. It would be one core thought that you say that, okay, now this is, I think there's a film in here. And once that could be one line, one word, one scene, one very basic thought. And once that is there, then Abhijat and me, actually, we don't write for a month, 2 months. Actually, we don't write. We just keep talking about it. We'll sit, we'll chat about it. We'll walk. We used to walk a lot and talk and keep a little recorder and keep any anecdote, anything connected with it, kind of record it and keep it aside. Then I'd make a little thought folder in my laptop and research, talk about it. Anything interesting, I just put it down and put it in the thought folder. So for first 2 months, actually, you don't write at all. Then as the kind of material starts accumulating, gradually you start seeing some kind of a structure in it. Oh, this might be a great opening scene. This is what, but overall, what are we trying to say? Are we reaching there? So it's still a jigsaw puzzle which is kind of fitting in. That will take another few months. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's not very fast. Then once you get a more or less kind of a structure, you put it down in like a one-line structure. You take baby steps because it can be very daunting. The moment you say कि नहीं मैं आज बैठूंगा, आज मैं पूरा एक-एक scene लिखता जाऊंगा और मैं 100 scene लिख लूंगा, you'll collapse because you have to first create a path. So you take baby steps, छोटा-छोटा scene लिखते जाओ. And some area you'll get stuck. You say, okay, leave it for time being. We'll figure this out later. Move ahead. And you'll go there. Once a mota structure of the story is ready, then Abhijat and me share the scenes. You say, okay, you write these 2 scenes, I'll take these 2 scenes. Then write it like a complete scene, like a flow. This is how this is going to come. This is what the mota dialogues are going to be. This is the thought. This is what we're going to say through the scene. And then we exchange it. I send my scenes to him. He sends his scene to me. Then we talk about it. If it's working, we keep it aside. If it's not working, then we chat and work on it a little more. And gradually from this grows one by one over a period of time. Then you have kind of a screenplay. And then there's one practice I've realized that you have to read the screenplay in one go. If you're saying, okay, I'm going to read half today, half tomorrow. No. Once you have a full screenplay, lock yourself, spend those 5-6 hours and read it in one go. And undisturbed, if you read it, then you see the flaws. Then you say, hey, this is where I'm getting bored. This is not working. This is a disaster. I made these mistakes. So see it like a one full this thing. Then you go back again to the drawing board. You say, this is not working here. Remove this, remove that. And it's a very slow process. And it's a lot of conversations, a lot of talking. For me, I'm lucky that I have somebody like Abhijat working with me because he has one principle. He says, if I tell him, this is not working, he will try and understand why it's not working, but it doesn't impose that, nahi yaar, he's not going to spend hours saying that this is not working. His logic is straight. He says, you have to go and shoot it. And if it's not working here, how will you shoot it? Period. So let me understand why it's not working for you. Then let's try and revisit that. But if he very strongly feels, he'll come back. A few days later, he'll come back. He says, nahi, ye humne nahi samjha tha, shayad us wajah se. But it's a slow process. So there are many dark days ahead. So don't worry as a writer that, arey, itna jaldi kyun nahi ho raha hai? Be kind to yourself. The days nothing comes. The whole day you sit and not a single idea comes in and you start doubting yourself. It happens to me still. So be kind, slowly, वो jigsaw puzzle. एक point पे आ जाता है जब आपको लगने लगता है कि अब बन सकती है. And ideas will keep coming. As Mazhar was saying, when do you stop? Do you let the actors do it? Abhijat once after, I think PK or 3 Idiots or something had released in the cinema hall. And we had just gone to see some reactions in the hall, and he said, "अरे यार ये गलत लिख दिया. यहाँ पे ऐसा लिखते तो इसमें ज़्यादा हंसी आती है." I said, "Oh shit, why didn't we think of it?" And Abhijat, he says, "तो अभी डाल सकते हैं क्या?" I said, "Release हो गई film." तो इसे DVD में तो डाल सकते हैं. So there's a never ending. I said, writing never stops. It has to be abandoned at a point. He says, "अब release हो गया, अब abandon कर दो भाई." So, but you have to be lucky to find I'm lucky. I feel कि I've found a writing partner like that. Otherwise, it can be Mahabharat every time with a writing partner. It is a Mahabharat with many people I know. Every day there's a fight. Every day there's a battle.
So just following up on it, like you have Vidhu Vinod Chopra sir as a producer. So he comes in And then how do you handle that when you two are together ideas, and then you have Vidhu Vinod Chopra sir, a big giant, who is himself a writer, director, who comes in and gives some inputs?
No, I feel that's the same question somebody asked me, ki how as a Sala Khadu, as when you produced it, how does it? I think it always helps to have a intelligent mind and a producer who's also a filmmaker, who's not just a money bag. Because when somebody is just giving you money, his only interest is कि कितना जल्दी खत्म होगा, कब मैं release करूँगा, मैं कितना कमाऊँगा. But when you have a filmmaker there, it's very easy. I don't even have to tell him. I read the script out to him. अच्छा ये कैसा, इसका कितना cost होगा, ये इतना बोल दिया तो समझ में आ गई बात कि ऐसा होगा. यहाँ पे बचाना है, यहाँ पे नहीं बचाना है. So there's no battle. There's never been a battle on that कि यार ये क्यों इसमें तकलीफ हो रही है. So it's far more easier actually to work with a filmmaker. Of course, it has to be an intelligent mind. If you have a mind who's just gets into an ego or gets into this thing, then it can be very difficult.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had a question. Can I go ahead?
Okay.
Yeah. So the scene that you showed from Three Idiots, so that had like this, the plane was moving in different directions at different times, like left to right and right to left.
Yeah.
So is that something that you use intentionally to maybe heighten the drama?
No, because how do you shoot a plane? Yeah, you can't hire a plane and shoot a plane and say क्योंकि यहाँ से आज landing करो, अब मैं वहाँ कैमरा लगाता हूँ, फिर यहाँ से landing करो. So we, with great difficulty, we managed to find permission to shoot existing planes which are landing on a runway. And this was what we shot in a runway. So we kept on shooting with every plane. One plane will land on this runway, other one land on this runway. And we kept on shooting as much as we shot, and then we finally made it up in the edit. Also, the struggle in the edit was suddenly one plane was an Air India plane, another was a Jet Airways, something was this thing. And those Three Idiots days, it was not so easy to suddenly change the exterior. Now you can very easily do it. You can completely change the name of the plane, and you can completely change so many things. So it was possible, but it was expensive. So finally, you had to find one plane which kind of gave a clear path, and go ahead and kind of smartly edit with that. So whatever you do, you never get the full luxury. You never get everything you want in a cinema. You have to make do with many things.
Raju sir, this
Sir,
is
I had
really
a-
lovely here. I just wanted to thank you because you have brought so many memories and you took us back to campus, and most of the students here have not seen it. So I just wanted to thank you, and the FTII Senior Junior Association is something, it is like a relationship. So I just wanted to tell them, when these guys in the 80s, they didn't have that facility to show the film to anybody very quickly. So either they had to take the cans to Mumbai and book a theater and then show it. When I got out of the institute, passed out 2003-4 time, then we had the facility to show the DVDs. Now it has become very easy to share the link. So I just wanted to share a personal, very quick incident with Mr. Rajkumar Hirani. I had sent my DVDs to 3 people. One was Raju sir, my senior. Another Ashutosh Gowarikar, and third was Dr. Chandra Prakash Dwivedi. And one morning, 9:30, I received a call. It was a newly bought mobile number. So I take the call. Arey, Damle, this is Rajkumar Hirani. तो मैं कुर्सी से खड़ा हो गया. अरे अच्छा फिल्म बनाया, राजा खाना खाते. मैं फिर कुर्सी में गिर गया. And then I called his office. He gave me time and elaborate lunch. और मैं तो ऐसे मुंह उठा के चला गया जैसे बहुत बड़ा मुगले आजम बना लिया. But that is what generous and happy Raju Hirani is, and a senior to whom you can look forward and share your film. I'm sure he will get back if he likes it. Thank you, sir.
अभी सब फिल्म भेजेंगे. अभी मेरी बैंड बजा दी मिलन तूने.
अरे आपने
सारे भेजेंगे. खराब वाली होगी, मैं नहीं फोन करूंगा, बोलेंगे देखो ये साला जुड़ा होता है.
इसी बहाने अच्छी फिल्म बनाएंगे सर.
No, but it's been wonderful talking to you guys, and thank you so much for having me here. And great
Sir, I have
memory.
one-
It's good to see so many old faces, so many. I had completely forgotten was Milind. You reminded me of this, and Pankaj, of course, reminded me of so many things. Pankaj, I love meeting actually. Pankaj is such a inspiring man. He always inspires me. And Kantholaji always at it. We of course meet in the GC all the time. So it was lovely seeing you, all of you, and especially the first year students. Don't stress. ये कब तक रहेगा कोरोना? जाएगा एक दिन साला. फिर come to campus.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Sir, can I ask one question, please, from
Yes,
Mazhar
sir.
Kamran, sir?
Yeah, please.
Mazhar Kamran, sir, I mean, I'm really honored to have you, opportunity to ask this question, because Satya's image making has stayed with me since childhood, and as it has for a lot of people. And I was wondering, how has your experience of the non-fiction or documentary affected what you brought to the fiction? What you brought to
Ayan, I think we'll get an opportunity to talk some other time. It will be a long-winded answer. So we will.
I'll quickly say, I've in fact said it. Well, it just hones your skill to very quickly say, because when you're editing documentary footage, it's not shot in a preconceived manner. So you have to create meaning out of it. You say, okay, this shot put like this will create a meaning. So when you are able to do that with documentary footage, you carry the same skills to fiction also. You say, okay, I'm seeing this fiction material in a particular way. It's been written like that. But what if I rearrange it like this? It can completely change meaning. And it does it. It does it all the time. So it's a matter of just honing your skills like that. So documentary is great stuff. I still love it. There's so many documentaries in my head which I want to do. I've kept it for a later day. जब नहीं बना पाएंगे फिल्म तो documentaries बनाएंगे आराम से बैठ के.
Sir, can I say something?
Yeah, okay.
सर मतलब अभी आपसे काफी सारा कुछ सीखने को मिला, और मतलब पहले जब मैं छोटा था काफी, जब 8th क्लास में था, तब मैं सिर्फ कार्टून देखता था और मुझे लगता था कि फिल्म देख के मतलब क्या ही कोई आदमी सीख सकता है, मतलब बोरिंग लगता था. लेकिन जैसे ही आपका मतलब 3 इडियट देखा, मैं तब से ही मतलब सोच डाला था कि मतलब कैसे फिल्म बनाना है, ये सब लाइन पे जाना है. तो सर आपसे बात करके काफी कुछ सीख के अच्छा लगा. सर अगर आप क्या बोलते हैं, हमारा जो वर्कशॉप भी होता है एडिटिंग डिपार्टमेंट में, तो अगर आप सर अगर आके हमारा वर्कशॉप भी अगर ले काफी, तो फेस टू फेस इंटरेक्शन होगा, क्या बोलते हैं आप वीडियो दिखाएंगे, काफी सारी चीज सिखाएंगे. तो सर काफी सारा कुछ
बिल्कुल. एक्चुअली वी वर प्लानिंग, कंट्रोलर जी ने हमारी बात भी हुई थी लास्ट ईयर. हमारा प्लान था, फिर वो अब 1 साल से जो ये कोरोना के चक्कर में रह गया. अभी आई वाज प्लानिंग टू डू कम एंड डू अ वर्कशॉप इन एडिटिंग स्पेशल. We will let this open up. We will 100% come. I'd love to come.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. बिल्कुल लगा ही नहीं कि हम लोग राजू हिरानी द डायरेक्टर से बात कर रहे हैं. आप तो बिल्कुल घर के ही हैं हमारे. Thank you for giving so much time, and I also thank the students for so enthusiastically participating. And Mazhar sir, of course, like Raju Hirani sir, Mazhar sir is always there for the institute, and of course, a big thank you to the teachers also. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mazhar. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Milind. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, bye, bye. And thank you, Adelphia.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All is well, sir.